Welcome back to the channel. In this video I'll be discussing the brand new VIOFO A329S, A329T, and A329WW series of dash cameras that were released at the end of May 2025. I'll go over some of the new features compared to the earlier A329 dash camera, and I'll show you the unboxing of the A329S dash camera that I have. So let's get into it. Here's a list of some of the highlights of the A329S, A329T, and A329WW dash cameras from VIOFO. They're all capable of recording up to 3 channels, and you can operate them in single channel, 2-channel, and 3-channel configurations. The A329S does come with a new 210 ultra-wide angle cabin camera, which has a fisheye mode as well, which extends it so you can see outside of the vehicle as well. Like the A329, we have Wi-Fi 6 connectivity, and now all 3 image sensors are Sony Starvis 2 image sensors. We have 2 new parking mode configurations and operational modes. There's a new low power impact detection mode, which will respond to impacts within 2 seconds, and is very low power consumption for a VIOFO. This is a big advancement for the VIOFO parking mode offerings. And there's a new hybrid parking mode, which takes a traditional parking mode such as time-lapse 1 frame per second, low bit rate, or auto event detection, and then it pairs it with the low power impact detection. And the criteria to switch over is either a timer that you set, or with a brand new hardware kit, the HK6, there's an option of setting a cutover voltage, which will transition to the low power impact detection mode at that particular system voltage. And we still have the support, like we did with the A329, of the external SSD storage. One thing to note with the low power impact detection is that only records to the micro SD card in the camera, not to the SSD. Now let's take a look at the various offerings and camera configurations that you can purchase with the new dash cameras. The A329S standard configuration, you can purchase it as a front camera only, 1 channel, a front and rear camera, 2-channel configuration, and the 3-channel, which is what I have for testing purposes, and that's the A329S 3-channel, which is the front, rear, and the fisheye cabin camera. Moving on to the telephoto offering from VIOFO, there's no single channel configuration offered at this time from VIOFO, so you start off with an A329T 2-channel, which is the front plus the telephoto camera. There are 2 different 3-channel configuration offerings here. The A329T 3-channel includes the standard interior mounted rear camera, and if you wish to have a rear mounted camera on the outside of the vehicle that's waterproof, that would be the A329TW 3-channel. Moving on to the waterproof editions as they're labeled on the VIOFO website, you have the A329SW 2-channel and 3-channel. Both of those include the rear camera that is waterproof, and then the 3-channel offering has the interior fisheye cabin camera. And then the A329WW 3-channel has 2 rear waterproof cameras, and just keep in mind that there is a separate firmware for the A329S series versus the A329T series versus the A329WW. So whenever you update your camera, make sure you download the appropriate firmware for your dash camera. As I mentioned in the highlights section, the cabin camera is now a 2K HDR capable dash camera using a Sony Starvis 2 IMX675 image sensor. It has a field of view of 210 degrees and has 2 operational modes as far as the field of view that it can operate in. It does have a fisheye mode. Now I'll show you a frame grab from a VIOFO A229 Pro, which is a 1080p interior camera. Now I'll show you the sample from the 210 field of view upgraded camera that came with the A329S. And now I'll show you the sample with the fisheye mode enabled. So now you can see what it looks like during the day. Here are some samples from a nighttime drive that I had as well, so you can see with the infrared LEDs on from the A229 Pro. And then now I'll show you the frame grab from the same location from the A329S cabin camera. Now let's take a look at the multiplex video feature. By default, this feature is disabled, but when you enable it in the firmware settings, you will have the combination of the front camera plus the other selected camera's video content into the single front camera video file. This makes it simpler to review the content at the same time, or if you like to share the content on social media, It makes it a bit easier, but be aware that the 2-channel selections will expand the width of the video file that is written, and the 3-channel configurations will expand the height of it to account for the extra content. And the other cameras other than the front will have a slight scaling down of the video content to fit within the combined video file. Now let's move on to the most important improvement, in my opinion, for this dash camera series, the new parking mode of low power impact detection. This parking mode allows the dash camera to go into a low power consumption state, waiting for an impact event. And when an impact event is detected, the camera will start recording on all configured video channels in under 2 seconds. This is the first time it's offered on a VIOFO dash camera, and the low power consumption is under 40 milliamps at 12.6 volts in my testing, which I'll have in a separate review video for this series of dash cameras, which is a great improvement on the other parking modes and what they consume in their operational modes. Now, this is also connected to a new feature called hybrid parking mode, which I'll talk about in the next section, but please be aware this parking mode does require that a micro SD card be present in the camera so that the parking mode videos for low power impact detection are written to the micro SD. If you use a SSD to write your regular videos to, you must also have a micro SD card in the camera for this mode to operate. Before discussing hybrid parking mode, I need to discuss vehicle battery protection settings, since hybrid parking mode requires at least one of these settings to be enabled before you can select one of the hybrid parking modes. Also, vehicle battery protection settings do impact the standard parking modes of time-lapse, low bitrate, and auto event detection. So let's discuss this section now. There are 2 settings within the vehicle battery protection group: the cutoff time, which ranges from 30 minutes up to 48 hours. And you can use this with the HK4 and the new HK6 hardware kit. And this will simply turn off the dash camera after that amount of time has been elapsed while in parking mode. And now it's or, so if the cutoff time or voltage have been satisfied as the criteria, it will turn off the dash camera. So if you're powering the dash camera with an HK6, which is required for the cutoff voltage, when the voltage level goes below the selected voltage level, it will then stop recording and power down the dash camera. For hybrid parking mode, it's a little bit different, and I'll discuss that in the hybrid parking mode section. So again, if you're using an HK4, you can use the cutoff time setting since it does not require the Bluetooth communications with the HK6. But if you want to use the cutoff voltage setting within the dash camera, it must have the HK6 hardware kit. Please be aware that the HK4 and the brand new HK6, both of those will have the slide switch on the side of the unit to determine when the hardware kit turns off the power to the dash camera. This is a hard setting on the hardware kit itself, which will determine when in hybrid parking mode that it fully turns off the dash camera. But if you have the HK6 powering your dash camera and you're using the cutoff voltage setting, you might want to make sure that you're not having conflicting voltage settings, such as the setting in the camera is set lower than the value on the slide switch, just to make sure you're not having the full power turned off to the dash camera before you want it to be turned off. Now let's move on to the new parking mode configuration of hybrid parking mode. If you haven't seen the sections in this video discussing vehicle battery protection or low power impact detection parking mode, make sure you go back and look at those first before coming back and seeing what's in this section. So hybrid parking mode is a combination of one of the traditional dash camera parking modes of time-lapse, 1 frame per second, low bit rate, or event detection as the primary parking mode. So when the camera first enters parking mode, it enters in that particular parking mode, and then it will wait for one of the vehicle battery protection settings to have been crossed or the threshold to have been breached. So if the time setting has been exceeded, it will transition from the primary parking mode to the secondary parking mode, and for hybrid parking mode, that is the low power impact detection parking mode. If you have the voltage setting set and you're powering the dash camera with the HK6, if the voltage level goes below the particular voltage level you set in the vehicle battery protection section cutoff voltage, it will transition from the primary parking mode here to low power impact detection. So then you're going, well, how does the dash camera fully power down and how does it protect your battery in that situation? That goes with the slide switch that I mentioned in the vehicle battery protection section. So this is a great way of getting a fixed number of time or voltage level protection, and it will transition from that particular parking mode to low power impact detection to fully protect your vehicle in some form for extended periods of time. Now let's go through an unboxing of an A329S 3-channel dash camera. This dash camera was sent to me free of charge by VIOFO for review purposes. Here are the list of features on the side of the box and the back of the box, covering much of the same things we covered in the highlight section at the beginning of this video. On the left side, you can see the box with the outer advertising sleeve removed from the box. On the right side, you can see the cover of the box removed. There's the red insert for the after sales help and support information. On the upper right, you can see the quick start guide, which gives you information to quickly get it installed. And on the lower right there, you can see the box with the cameras in their plastic covers inside the foam on the top half of the box. After removing the foam insert with the cameras, you have this plastic bag with the replacement double-sided adhesive pads for the 3 cameras. There are 2 electrostatic stickers if you wish to use those to mount your cameras to the window glass in your vehicle, and then a sticker that you might want to put on your vehicle if you want to announce the fact that it's protected by VIOFO dash cameras. These are the items that are on the bottom of the box. On the left side, we have a USB-C to USB-C data cable, which can be used to connect the dash camera to a computer. And the length of the cables are listed on the screen. To the right of that, we have the USB-C to USB-C power cable, which is to be used with the USB-C power adapter listed on the top center there. And in the center, we have the trim tool that can be used to help you route the cables through your vehicle. On the right side, we have the 2 different cables provided in this 3-channel configuration. The shorter cable is looped on the outside for the interior camera, and it's 1 meter in length. The telephoto camera would have a similar cable length available, and then to the inside, we have the rear camera cable, and then the inside of that, we have the front camera CPL 200 that can be placed on the front camera lens barrel. If you only need to power your dash camera while driving your vehicle, you can take advantage of the D6000 power adapter that's provided in the box. It has 2 connection ports on it. The blue one is for the dash camera and the orange one is for other devices. And the output values for voltage and amps are listed on the side of the D6000 in this picture. In these pictures, I show the GPS mount removed from the front camera. On the left side, you can see the front-facing side of the camera where the GPS mount would attach. That's where the serial number sticker is present on your dash camera. Upper right is the interior-facing side of the GPS mount, and you can see the connection pins. And then the mounting tabs, you would place the dash camera up on the right-hand side and slide it to the left to engage that GPS mount. And on the lower right, you can see where the USB-C power cable plugs into the GPS mount. In this picture, I'm showing you a progression from the A229 Pro, A329, and on the right side is the A329S. And yes, there is no letter at the end of the model number on the A329S, T, and WW. They all say just A329. Here are the side views of the various dash camera models. On the top left, you can see the coaxial connection ports for the rear and interior cameras for the A329S. The A329T, the telephoto will connect to the interior port, and for the A329WW, one of the rear cameras would be on the rear connection port, and the other would be on the interior connection port for that second rear external camera. And then you can see the ventilation vents have stayed about the same between the 329 and the 329S, but certainly several additional vents were added from the A229 Pro up to the A329. Looking at the front side of the dash camera with the GPS mount attached to it, you can see the ventilation vents are pretty much identical between the 329 and 329S, but there's certainly more compared to the A229 Pro. The pictures on this screen show you the full range of motion for the front camera lens adjustment. On this screen, I have various pictures showing different points of view of the fisheye interior camera and the rear inside mounted dash camera included with the A329S 3-channel dash camera. Be aware that CPL filters are available, but you must purchase the brand new CPL 600 for these dash cameras. On this screen, I wanted to show you a picture of the telephoto camera. I did receive one as part of a prototype bundle that I received from VIOFO for some early testing. So I do have one, so I wanted to show you that picture. Of course, that does have a different lens than the other cameras, but it has the same case size as the ones on the left-hand side. I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification to be notified when I release additional videos, such as a review video showing more details about this dash camera series, and some sample videos showing video samples from daytime, nighttime, and parking mode operations. So thanks for coming to the channel and checking out the video. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.